Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk to Phill. Now Phill lives on the Gold Coast and he lives by his number one goal in life, which is optimum health, vitality, physical and mental and spiritual alignment. So he's a very balanced person. So he's a wealth of knowledge in many areas. And today we're focusing on health and wellness. And Phill has an amazing technology at his fingertips that can read or scan your body and tell you exactly what you need for your body, what vitamins, what food to eat, how much to drink, all that type of thing, which is awesome because it takes away all the guesswork, which I struggle with. Hi, Phill. How are you today?
Real well. Thanks for the opportunity.
Well, you're an intriguing person because when I met you and there was one thing you introduced me to, which I thought was amazing, and you've got so many other things under your belt as well that I'm finding very amazing. And I just would like you to touch on a couple of the things. So the first thing you introduced me to, would you like to explain that to the people who may be watching? Because I can't explain it.
This is the library, you mean?
Yes, that's right.
Yep. Okay. So I for a long time, really, I guess my 30 or 40 years, probably 30 years at least, I had this situation hanging over me where my father had a prostate issue and eventually died from it. So I sort of began a journey to make sure that wasn't going to happen to me, many years ago. And along the way, just a thirst for learning about how to be vital and how to. I got into for instance, making sure that I maintained a high vitality stance in my whole life, and it just became an obsession really. And it's grown out of that into discovering really where classic health is about there's so much you can do now as an individual to tap into the science that is around in the world at the moment and go ahead and treat or look after yourself. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going and seeing a doctor or a naturopath or whoever it may be, but there's just if you buy into looking after yourself and finding out what's out there and doing rather than having an issue and saying I've got to get this product or that product or whatever it may be, you can actually do so much yourself. And I was exposed to a product which was a system actually, and it's a quantum system. It's a quantum physics delivery system. It's an a true energy balancing system. Now it's funny you say I've got a whole bunch of things I balance. I am a Libran, so I guess balancing other deal. So, but I'll make this quick short story. I was invited to a house of a friend of mine. They said, look, this person's visiting from the UK, and they have a particular system that is able to where you put your fingers in the machine and it creates an energetic signature, which is unique for each person. Right? So it's like it creates like a telephone number, a big digital number. So that particular number relates to specific frequency per individual. So I thought, okay, that's fine. They said, well, this guy is going to show us. He's going to have this system in the room, and he's got part of the system incorporates a thing called a quantum star. It's this part of the Libra system. Now, what you have in the Libra is a quantum physics delivery system that has 350,000 formulas created by some of the greatest scientists and doctors in the world over the last 30 years. So you've got incredible doctors like Dr. Hilda Clark, for instance, who is, just an incredibly famous doctor who created a frequency method to actually deal with parasites in people's bodies. So we've all got, from time to time, we get parasites, and parasites are like in a lot of ways, people think, oh, parasites, oh my God, you haven't got those. Well, our bodies are full of parasites, the same as they're full of viruses. Don't get me started on that one right now, and we'll go down the COVID thing. We're not going to do that. But what we're saying is, so this particular system has the ability to, once you put your fingers in it, it has an ability to actually scan your whole body and all your energy systems, your chakras and and all of it, your endocrine system and the whole lot, and produce a report. First of all, in connecting with you, it's able, for instance, so if I run a body scan, the body scan will go ahead and scan your body and look at things that are out of frequency, because your heart and your lungs have a certain frequency when they're working together properly. And if they're out of frequency, the system can sense that they're out of frequency and not working properly, or not balanced and working the way they should be, and apply frequencies to actually tune them back to perfect balance. Now, and this is like machines over there, if I'm over here, I'm not connected to the machine. It uses quantum physics entanglement technology to actually communicate with you. Now, that might seem amazing, but it works amazingly well. So I can scan somebody who's come to me or who sent me, one of my clients just sent me a lock of hair. I haven't got it here with me. So I say someone comes to me and says to me, look, I've got a problem. I've got an issue, a digestive issue, or I've got some syndrome or whatever it may be. They can send me a lock of hair, because they're not available to put the fingers in the machine. They can send me a lock of hair and put it in the machine, create an energetic signature or a particular system, a particular identification system in the system for that person, and then transfer a formula, be it whatever, it might be a cold and flu formula or a immune system formula, to Auckland while they're sleeping.
Wow, is amazing.
This is for me. This is like, oh, no way. Until I experienced it, I saw people in the room experience it. I'm saying, oh, gee, how come I can feel that? Oh, hang on, that's nice, or it feels okay. And I've had now years of practice with this. There are doctors now who have this system, and medical doctors, and naturopaths, and so forth, and people like myself, and families that have these now. And it changes the course of history for the health of a family. So, without going into a big session, but can you imagine the power of being able to say to everyone in Australia or everyone in Queensland over 50 who's been frightened by this garbage that's going on about COVID, right? And I can help them by boosting their immune systems while they sleep at night, and in the morning give them a documented report which tells them where they were before I started and what was corrected whilst we were transmitting overnight, a live documented report, even as far as what their current limiting beliefs are, what their current psych is. So, and these are accurate reports. I've dealt with a lot of people, and I'll say to them, well, between you and me, we've done a body scan, and here's your report on your current limiting beliefs. And they're flabbergasted. How can you know that? How could that be? How would you know those things? Quite often they're private. But look, every person that I actually show and show this system to is astounded by how it's working. So now we have doctors, medical doctors, now starting to put these into their medical practices. So okay. So sorry, I could rave on forever about this. So I'll let you ask if you want to. So do you get the general idea of what's going on there, B. Libra?
Yeah, it's such a peace of mind as well to know that you're getting some positive vibrations for the night while you're sleeping, that you're going to wake up, your immunity is going to be better, particularly in our age group. Yeah, when we've all been scared to death or made to be frightened of what's going on in the world. Yes. And want to keep away from certain people, that type of thing. And thought, I don't care, I'm immune. I feel good.
Yeah, I'm not saying that because the system will come up. And
we can't say it's a cure or
you do a couple of things. I can actually put a basil leaf in this system, and it will copy the essence of the basil leaf. And if you need, and then I'll put it in the library, and if you need the essence of that basil when it's doing the body scan, it will actually transfer the essence of the basil leaf directly to you because you need it. That's how good it is. That's how amazing it is. So it's real science. This is 30 years of work. by a company called WDS, or World Development Systems, in the UK. And I just can't tell you where this guy's going with this development now. He regularly visits the United States and Europe. He's been asked by scientists in the US, and he regularly, once a year, once every 18 months, he goes there, where he goes in behind closed doors, and he engages with the scientific community about what he's doing here with this development. He's now developing consciousness programs and all sorts of things. So it's bigger than Ben-Hur, actually, and I'm pretty excited about it. So that's one system.
Yeah. So I have heard you do have another system as well, which is I find very intriguing.
All right. So in the nature of us providing self-help, I'm very much a believer at the moment that people can these days do a lot of things for themselves and their family in a modern living situation where they can, the key elements, digestion being one of them. So you and I, you've lived, however many years we've lived. We don't want to talk about that to most people, right? but at the end of the day, how many people do you know who, we've all been living and eating apples and doing the things and we're told and whatever. How many people have ever been able to actually get a report that tells them exactly what nutrients their body is actually uptaking when they eat food? Not one.
None.
I guarantee, not one, hardly any at all. Now, we have a system called RBTI. Right now, this has been going. This was created back in the 30s, right? And the stories around this Dr. Kerry Reeves are phenomenal. But what's happened is, in the last 5 or so years, a very smart fellow in a guy called Phil Rankin, who's got a company called Balanced Energy Health, he has created a way for me to send out one of these B kits to somebody who's got a digestive issue. I have people ring up and say, I've got digestive issues. And I think whenever I talk to somebody who's ill or has got an issue, it starts with digestion. Generally, that's out in the food and whatever it may be. So what I can do is I can put this in the mail and send this to them. Right, costs $15. It's got a vial for some saliva, and it's got the old obligatory urine sample bottle. Right, so 2 hours after somebody's had a feed, normal feed, whatever they eat normally, they'll do a little urine sample, pop it in there. They'll do a little spit sample, pop it in here. Put the top on, take it down to the post office and send it to me, either come around or send it to me. I've got a laboratory sitting out the back here. And the laboratory is, I'll show you the tools that are in it in a minute. But the next morning, I can tell them exactly where their digestion is and how it's performing under or over, what their salt and what their the balance, particularly the most important balance, of course, is hydration. I can tell exactly with their hydration what has actually been absorbed into their body in terms of that. What minerals are missing are low, what vitamins are low and not actually being absorbed, what they should eat, what they should do in a simple report that they don't have to go off and to a special shop and buy thousands of dollars worth of anything. It's about going and buying normal food from, if you like, from Coles or Woolworths, get the green food, do what you got to do, if you've got to buy some protein, whatever you do. It's not any major requirement to have special food or whatever. It's about combination and balance. All that happens is then they follow a simple chart that says if you're going to eat a berry, eat this one, the blue one. If you want a little bit of potassium, yeah, sure enough, have some bananas. But if they stick with that list, within 10 days, I can show they have another test, and I can show them that their out of balance situation will move amazingly towards homeostasis. Just because we've been able to, one, tell them exactly where they're at. Too fast, too slow digestion. Now, we've got a simple, I've sent you, before this, I sent you a very simple 10-minute presentation which shows how this works. But it's for the consumer, it is unbelievably simple. I mean, hello, bit of spit and a bit of wee in one of those, put the top on, go down to the post office, put it in a pack and send it to me. I'll take it out the back, and in 10 minutes using this little thing here. This is my little pack. I'll show it to you. It's called a bee kit.
Right.
And it has some really amazing pieces of technology in it. These things. Right. This instrument here, I can get a tomato from Woolworths and one out of my garden out there, and I can tell the difference in the mineral content of a tomato that's from Woolworths and one that's out of my garden. So I can tell which one's the best, and just simple. I mean, all I do is I put a few drops of juice under that and look in through here, take a number from this, put it in my software, and it'll say that tomato is garbage, or wow, it rates really high. It's a simple number. So this one here, same again. When I get the samples of out of here, I'm putting a couple of drops in this instrument. I'm pressing a button. It's giving me a number. I'm putting the number in the software, and the software is telling me, okay, it combines the salts in the urine. It combines the fats. It looks at your ability, your kidney and liver's ability to refine it. You know, the jobs that they do, you can see in the urine and in the spit. Really amazing. And, you know, I'm not a scientist, but I'm telling you, I've gone to a presentation of this stuff with 25 naturopaths, and they said, "Are you serious?" So when somebody comes to see me, I can either, one, send them this out before they get there, or wait until they get there and have the person at the front get a sample. And by the time they come and see me 15 minutes later, I can tell them, and they sort of sit down in front of me, or a doctor, for instance, and they'll tell me what the problem is. And they'll say, well, yeah, I can see that. Your digestion's, you're not digesting anything. It's going straight through your system before they even see the person. So the 30 that we showed, 20 of them said they wanted one. So it's just a breakthrough. I guess what we're talking about here is you can have one of these. You can have one of these little systems in your house if you want to, for your family, for $350, and just take it for yourself. Wow. Now, if it's out of balance, you can go get all the reports and trundle off down to the doctor or down to your naturopath and say, "Hey, this is what's going on." And they'll go, "Oh, really?" I'll look at the reports and say, "Oh, gee, you are short of that," and give them, maybe run their own test, but give them the things they need. So that is dynamite. That whole system is dynamite. You don't even have to. So if someone's in Newcastle or whatever, they can just pop those things in the mail, and I can come back to them straight away. And we've got just some dynamic weight loss, for instance. We've had people. I guess. The story about the weight loss is kind of we create maybe a 3 or 4 week program, and two people that, in recent times have come back to me and said to me, after 10 days, when they've lost 4 kilos in 10 days just by food combining properly, and of course we teach how to hydrate properly, and boom, they've lost, and they say, guess what? We don't need your program anymore, Phil. Sorry, we're gone. Well, we know now what to do. Boom. But
so what happens? So what happens? Will that work with hormonals as well? Like women have had hysterectomies and I've got to go on HRT. Does that help with that as well? So whether we should have done this at the beginning or whether we're doing it now, I'm not a doctor, and I can't give you any health advice, and I'm not doing that. All I'm simply doing is saying that. Okay. But here's the answer. The answer to this is this, and what this does in helping people get proper hydration and so set up a system so that they, one, know what the problem is without going to paying whatever to a doctor. Two, they can see straight away and they can get a recommendation and go, wow, that's pretty simple. I'll give it a shot, because it's only combining food and whatever. It's not doing anything. It's just doing. Now, if that's not good enough, or sometimes I can do a report there, a printout there, an in-depth analysis. Now, twice in the last year, I've had to ring
a doctor from my house, because the results that have come up have suggested in the real analysis, the big one, that this person is on the edge of a serious issue, either heart or some sort of renal failure or whatever. So, I mean, that putting those sort of tools in people's hands so that they can go off to their doctor or go off, they can get an idea within themselves quite simply, get a little reading and go, and off it empowers people.
So you go to the doctor sometime and you expect them to give you all these answers without you knowing what to actually ask or look for, and they can send you off on a barrage of tests and not get any answers. This is like putting power back to the people. So this is what the report says. How can you help me? And
I've had a lot of instances of people who've come to me and said, look, they can't. I've been going to, and this is a true story. I don't know, if I need to, I can back it up. I've been treated by a naturopath for a year now. My son has got a digestive problem, and they've taken, they've tried their best and they can't help him. And they said, we can't help him. I don't know what it is, whatever. We haven't in this particular clinic, we don't have the resources. Okay. Yeah. It was 8 hours on Elibra, and it completely cleared that issue. Now that's sort of going back to another technology. This young fellow it was a young. They'd never been able to sit at the table and have dinner with this fella for a whole time of the meal before he had to go to the toilet. That's 6 years.
Wow.
So completely away with access to this sort of thing. You see, so there is a way, I think, with a lot of these things now in the modern day, to be able to go, I can test, I can do a few, and we've got others as well, but I can test myself, I can see how I'm going. And a lot of people, digestion-wise, they'll go, oh, look, three weeks later, they're going, oh, yes, you talked about hormone problems and consciousness and sleep and all. You get your digestion right, your homeostasis moves on the charts towards being balanced, and you hold that balance for 3 or 4 weeks, a lot of things go away. A lot of problems.
Because everything's related to gut health, doesn't it?
Boom, boom. So we're not really, all we're doing is helping people help themselves in a way which is just healthy living, or smart ways to tweak things. You can tweak things by looking at it of your own, doing what, like, we're only going to give you a list that says, hey, these are the berries to eat for you, and these are the things, these foods here probably shouldn't be eating that much. Just try it. Or if you have a look at that and take it off to your naturopath or your dietitian or something and say, look, I've had this. It only cost me $85 to have this, and it's shown me all of this stuff. What do you think? Yeah. And, I haven't had one come back to me yet. They've sort of said, oh, well, yeah, my naturopath or my dietitian has said, this is all helpful. But I was glad to be able to get an opinion for myself before I went down that trail. So it's just a helpful way. Quite often they don't have to do it. I've had some results for people just to go on. They fixed, they balance themselves up and they're fine.
So with the saliva and urine test that you're getting from someone who's at a distance, doesn't matter how long it's been sitting there.
Yes.
By the time it gets to you.
You need to, if it's anywhere in Australia, I can get it within two days, 48 hours. 48 hours or 3 days is okay. But generally what happens if you express mail it, it'll be here within 12 or 24 hours. So that's fine. It's not that critical that you're going to get a situation where, because the effect of going through the mail and whatever is not going to be something that's that wide. When you get it, it is the way it is. It's not going to change in 24 or 48 hours for the testing that we do. Pretty accurate. So we can do a number of them and see how it goes. By the time you do one, you go, okay, well, this is what's coming up. Pretty accurate. And you go, okay, well, look, this is what we think. Here's quite simple. A lot of it is our method of hydration. Hydration, I thought I knew about hydration, and I didn't know about hydration until I discovered this science, this RBTI science. And it's simply all about not being more than an arm's length away from one of these. Yeah. And what I do is I set my alarm my normal alarm for 1 hour. So every hour it goes ding dong, and I take 2 to 3 mouthfuls of water only. I don't gulp when I think of it. I don't do any of that. In the morning when I get up, I set it, and every hour it goes off, and I reach out and I grab some high quality water. You know all about high quality water. I grab some alkaline water, and I'll go 1, 2, 3. 3 mouthfuls, forget it, it's done.
Right.
And you would believe the difference that makes. Because people don't do that. They
forget.
They do it when they remember. And
Yeah.
if you change that one habit,
Yeah.
is the most valuable thing that's in this particular little encounter. If you change that one habit, it will change your life. That's how amazing it is. Now, it's simple. It should be out there. Everybody should know this, but they don't. And it changes. You see, I get somebody that comes in and we do a test, and they'll be like, usually it's about 64 or 65 on the chart. It's got to be 92 on the scale that we have. 92 is where you begin to move into the healing zone. And that's with all the RBTI. What it does is it tells you where you are to start with, how far away you are from homeostasis. And then systematically, as you work with the charts and whatever, it just over probably 20 days, it goes, whoop. And next thing you know, you're in the healing zone. You hold that healing zone, a whole bunch of things are going to start getting better. And the key to it, hydration. So
what's the difference in taking a few mouthfuls as opposed to gulping down water? What's the difference there?
Because it's just in the way that the body, if you're drinking 600, if you're going right, I'm going to drink when I'm ready. I'm thirsty. Well, as you probably know, you're a water person. If you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. That's already the point. That's not the way you do it. The way you do it is a certain amount that the RBTI will say to you when it does your test. It'll do it and say, right, based on where you are now, you need to drink 2.3 litres or 2.4 litres per day, right, or more, maybe more, depending upon your weight and all that sort of stuff. And then it'll say to you, you should be taking in 115, 120, 130 mils per half hour. Right. So you can break this down. What I've found the best way for this to work is to have my timer set 45 minutes. That's the best one. If I'm in a meeting like this, it's going to take a bit longer. I'll let it go to an hour. But the best one is 45 minutes. 45 minutes. So you're actually getting the water in a way that's absorbable, where you're not having to, because if I'm just gulping when I think of it, I'm already starting. My body's getting fluctuating. If I'm getting just regular little hits of water, it's amazing how the body works that way. You do it that way, so it's pretty easy these days. Everyone gets pretty close. It doesn't matter where you are. I've doctors and people. It doesn't matter where they are. They can do it. And it just changes. Second test they have goes from 64 low right up to about 85, and they're almost there in 10 days where their hydration level is right. Their salts start to balance out. Their carb to salt ratio balances out. Their digestion moves away from being either too fast or too slow a long way out. It comes up, gets really close within 1 10-day stretch. It starts to work out. So then by the time they had the next one, they're sitting night. We're not asking anyone to do anything hard here, really, seriously. You don't have to.
It's a habit forming, change your habits.
Yeah, it's only, what am I going to have tonight for dinner? Well, whatever I have, there's a list here, is there going to be, what green things are going to be in there, what carbs are going to be in there, and what protein's going to be in there. Well, if you're going to have some protein, have one on this list here. It's not that hard, if it's going to be a lamb chop or it's going to be salmon, or it might be, if it's vegan, well, then, you're going to take your protein from your beans and your peas and things like that, So it runs beautifully vegan style.
Wow.
That's just two things.
I'm flabbergasted. Everything is so mind-blowing what technology actually brings out today.
And this is something you can have.
And when it's at our fingertips,
yes,
and we can actually easily access it so easily, and it's not that expensive considering going to doctors and getting heaps of tests, going to specialists, having operations you may not need, being sick, taking time off work, how much that costs in the long run, as opposed to having a simple test, figuring it out and changing some habits. So easy.
Pretty. That lady I told you about with the family who had that young child who had the digestive.
Yes.
So within like a 1 week, she noticed a major difference. So what she did was they bought with eLibra, they just got a family system. So they've got 3 children and mum and dad. Mum and dad are high pressure individuals. Mum is a speaker and a high pressure executive, and dad is doing a lot of the supporting that. He's got his own relatively high pressure job as well, and the kids are pretty automated, and they've got a little runt that they had. It was a problem, which was always. So they went from that to within about 6 months. So what happens is I would give the family a single treatment once a week. So we just bundle them in. They would get maybe an endocrine or maybe a digestive or an immune boost. I'm involving 1 each per week. 2 years. 2 years she went without 1 day off school for her children.
Yeah, wow.
Said I always had to budget some time because the kids would get sick at some stage or other, and I'd have to take time off or get babysitters in or whatever. She said and she would ring me and say, I'm going into a high pressure speaking engagement at 7:30 this morning. Can you run an eLibra boost on me, please? I've had a good sleep. It's been great, but because the eLibra has 300,000 different formulas for endocrine or whatever it may be, to just make sure that things are balanced and churned for perfection. And I've got SMS after SMS of people saying, how do you do this? How can I ring you up and say, oh my God, I've got a sore throat and I've got to do things in the morning, and I wake up in the morning, I've got no sore throat.
Yeah.
I've got it. So it is lovely. We love it because it means that you have got, why would doctors and naturopaths be now getting this technology, buying this technology? So we're supplying people to do that. It's good for them as well, and we're happy to do that. We're not good. Whatever. I don't have anything against anybody, but it's lovely to be able to help people when they need to put the power. Basically, I encourage them. Take your reports if you want to go and see your doctor. Take your reports and go and see them, and they'll look at the reports and go, "Oh, okay, wow, this gives me a good picture of what's going on at least." Yeah, okay, fine. Because the reports out of eLibra are practitioner reports; they're not consumer reports.
Right. Yeah.
So I have to look at them and so on. So
Well, that's so interesting. I could listen to you all day. I'm sure a lot of people could too.
I just love to be able to do it.
Yeah, when you can feel the passion. You're definitely passionate about it, and I'm passionate about everyone being healthy as well, and getting out there the message that there are alternative things out there to actually don't be closed-minded. Just don't listen to not saying the doctors are wrong, but don't listen to what doctors are. Open your mind and listen to what other people are saying who have had health benefits from this. So it's all about your life, your control of your own life and body.
Well,
so
knowing.
Knowing.
Blindly trusting what's going on out there.
So if anyone's watching out there and watching the replay later and you want to know more about Phill, contact him. Here's his email address on the bottom of the screen. He can help you. The website,
Just give you this. What the website has is a free opportunity to get a 20-minute chit-chat consultation with me about any problems that people might have if they've got a digestive issue. Now, all I'm going to be saying to them is not giving them health advice. I'll simply be saying to them, if they've got a digestive issue, they could try a sample of this to take. And I always ask them, what doctor or what naturopath are they working with? So all we're doing is helping them test and analyse for themselves initially on a consumer basis. And the other thing, of course, is listening to them. We've got a lot of eLibra has a consciousness sort of situation. It's surprising what happens when people, if you give someone a report that has a relatively accurate assessment of their current limiting beliefs, and you get to have a private conversation about those limiting beliefs, and those limiting beliefs don't appear on the next report, they can't help but feel that they've helped themselves, to a better, better state. And the same goes with the RBTI. They look at it and they start maybe changing a habit or two, and they feel better, or they take it off to their naturopath. Because we always ask them, who are you working with? Are you working with a doctor or a naturopath? Great, because you'll be wanting to consult with them about what we're doing here. If you feel like it, if you don't, well, we're not trying to heal you of anything. We're actually helping you and educating you how to look after yourself better.
Yeah, and limiting beliefs is something people will. Well, I didn't even think about that. I didn't realise that there's things that are blocking you is what you actually believe in, and you can always change that for the better.
Yes,
so,
that's exactly
something I'm learning myself at the moment.
So I'm
going to let everyone know who's watching or watch the replay. So if you want to contact Phill and you have no idea how, you can go on Facebook. He's on Facebook, and you can contact me to put you in touch with Phill as well, because he's got some amazing insights and the amazing technology he has, and has a lot of other things up his sleeve as well. That's for another story another day. So
the website is free.
Yeah, the website tells you everything.
Yep.
Yeah. So if anyone out there who's got something very interesting like what Phill has, wants to talk about it, feel free to contact me, and I'll doing a Friday live chat every Friday around 2:00 in the afternoon. So feel free to contact me, and you can get your message across just like Phill has, and tell the world your amazing power that you have at your fingertips that you'd like all of us to know. So thank you so much, Phill, for that. It was an amazing conversation.
Thank you.
And we'll see everybody next Friday. Bye for now.
See ya.